uSports Central out of deal. Charles Ashley now joining us. It is Ed Nunez, play-by-play with ProView Networks, also co-host of Sports Desk along with Scott Galletti. We're glad you could finally get on with us, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You guys do a great job. Like I said, I watch you guys every day when I get home from work, man. You guys do a great job.
We got at least one fan then, Charles.
You know what? That's all that matters sometimes. Sometimes you just need one fan and then everything else will work itself out.
Ed's got a wealth of knowledge, and as one of our play-by-play broadcasters here, part of our network, we thought we'd bring him in and talk some 3 and out with him. So here on 3 and Out, first topic, of course, guys, we've got to talk New Mexico Lobos. The New Mexico Lobos, man, they had a nice win at UNLV. And I'll tell you what, they're as close as you can get from getting a double road trip win as they lose in overtime to Wyoming. Hugh Greenwood with a monster game. Ed, I'll start with you. A turnover at the very end, kind of just had to hold on to the rock and hope to get fouled. Instead, he throws it away, and Larry Nance Jr. off a wild play gets a dunk that wins it for Wyoming. It's just a bad taste in Lobo fans' mouth right now.
Well, you know what? I've been a fan, Adam, 45 years, man. And I think, I was watching the game with my wife at home, and I thought that was one we had in the bag. And you want the ball in your senior guard's hand. And unfortunately, he made a bad play before overtime and fouling the three-point shooter, which, Charles, that's they always say the cardinal sin, don't foul the three-point shooter. Yeah. And then the pass. But they wouldn't have been in the position to win if it wasn't for his playmaking and three-point shooting. He played a fantastic game, but as a senior guard, you expect a little bit more from him and Deshaun Delaney, and unfortunately, it just didn't come up our way. Boy, that was a tough loss. It really was.
And you have a different point of view also because you've reffed for a long time, so you know the game. You watch it in 2 different lenses, so to speak. Watching it from the referee point of view and then from the analyst side. Tell us, on that foul, a lot of Lobo fans were saying, oh, it's a ticky-tack foul. But in that situation, a shooter, you're rushing out aggressively. What do you think about the call?
Well, what we always say as officials is protect the shooter. We say that, and if there's a little bit of contact, you're probably going to get that call. From my point of view, I thought it was a good call. I really did. And it's funny, you guys are going to laugh because my son is an assistant at St. Pius. Yeah. My son and I argue about officiating. I always tell him, son, how many games have you called? You haven't called any, so be quiet. You haven't called one game. Because after every game, I'm not kidding you, he comes home and has something, to argue about. And again,
that's what we have to do.
Right. And I understand that because I played and I coached too. I coached too. So and I think that's an advantage. It's a definite advantage in having been able to see the game from 3 different points of view. Yeah. But yes, I thought the call, at least in that point, was a good one.
I agree.
Devin Williams scratching his head. I like the way Devin Williams played too. Actually hit a couple triples. Devin Williams did, which was big time. And New Mexico found the buckets when they needed to find the buckets, but Hughes' turnover late ended up being the difference. And now you just feel like you let one slip on the road that could have helped win the Mountain West Conference, and now it's an uphill grind. They did what they wanted, which was a split on the road, but the fact that they had the 2 wins in their hands, they were going to go home against San Jose State. Everything was going for them, and then it all was taken away just like that.
Yeah, they played a game where when you look at the stat sheet, you're going to say we shot the ball really well. We made Wyoming take a lot of bad shots. Wyoming shot under 40%. We didn't really have too many bad turnovers. We crashed the glass. We had any other game, you win that game. Just the ball bounced a lot differently for them, a couple bad mistakes, and this is what happened. But you're up 3, you're up 5 with 30 seconds left. You pretty much think you're going to win that game.
Ed, where are the Lobos right now going forward? That's their 3rd loss in Mountain West play. They're 5-3. They had the home loss to Boise that is just all these losses. The loss against Wyoming would be fine if you didn't lose to Boise at home.
If you look at it, it was a senior-laden team last year with Kirk, Bairstow, and Williams. And this is a team that's still trying to find its way. Look at Devin Williams, Xavier Adams. Have we seen the best? Nobody really knows their roles yet because, Deshaun Delaney and Hugh Greenwood are the seniors. But they're not seniors that, Hugh Greenwood, look, he had the easiest job, man. He passed the ball to Williams, Kirk, they're going to score. Gordon. Yeah. Now, we asked him to do a little bit more this year, and I think now you're finally starting. The last 2 games he's done pretty well, in Vegas, and then he had a game in Wyoming where he shot well. Now, he didn't, the turnover at the end and the foul at the end did hurt them. He's still your leader. He's still your glue.
This is a build-in process, and I know I use this for football, and you don't want to hear that for basketball, but I really believe this team is young, and this team has potential going forward. You see the recruiting has done a great job from Coach Neal. And I think this year's still not over. The Mountain West Conference tournament obviously is very winnable. San Diego State doesn't impress me as much as everyone thought they would. So it's open. It is open. Let's move on here and let's talk a little preps hoops, shall we, on 3 and Out. Another big week, district play, and we got district play, of course, leading up to this next week. Manzano obviously goes and beats La Cueva in overtime. They get that one. We don't talk
that's a
enough
tough one.
about District 2 of 5A, but what I really want to bring up real quick, guys, I'm looking at Max Preps and I'm looking at the rankings throughout 16 teams, which is criteria used by the NMAA to seed, and there was 3 teams out of District 2 5A,
Yeah.
all losing records, that would be in the tournament according to Max Preps. What do you think about that, Ed?
Well, you know what? It's still early in the district season, and you mentioned Manzano. Coach Orell was down. I was watching that game at home, and they came back all the way and won. So, I love that Braxton Boyer. I had a chance to actually see him in Midtown playing ball one day after they had lost to West Mesa. Shifty, sliding hand, lefty, good player.
Yeah.
So, Adam, you never know what's going to happen. It's very early in the district season, so you never can tell.
Well, then I'll ask you this. To break down that Albuquerque High St. Pius game, because you called the game, you were there. I know you mentioned that the Bulldogs a lot better than what people probably were saying, but also talk about how good this St. Pius team is.
Well, it's funny because, again, I get from the horse's mouth after the
Yeah.
game what Coach Segura says because, my
Yeah.
son's going to come and tell me what was said. And I think the thing for Albuquerque High, if you look at Holtree, Bump, and Armijo, they're very hard to keep in front of you. Though all 3 of those guards are very good ball handlers. They can drive to the basket. Holtree pulls up very quick. So does Armijo. Armijo hadn't really got going, but at the end of the half, he gets a 3-pointer that gets his juices going. So I love him in the transition. Ilunga, Charles, if you look at him, he's a junior. And the way he jumps, his athleticism and explosiveness, he's only going to get better. They're dangerous, man. I like that team a lot, and I think, Adam, they always said about, I heard you say this last week about the resume, or, look, he's done it there. He's been there. Coach Garcia, we said this.
Yeah.
You guys don't know this because I'm from here, but Coach Moriarty, West Mesa, Rio Grande, he knows what he's doing. They have a very good team, and I really like that team. Now, on the other end, St. Pius, Coach Segura a little bit upset about some guys that maybe didn't play as well as he thought they should have, but I thought that they were there and they had a chance. Albuquerque High is just a good team. I don't think there's any shame in losing to the second-ranked 6A team in that class.
I think it was good for them. I really do. I think it was good for them the way the game played out as well. I want to talk now quickly about District 1 of 6A, which could be the best district in 6A basketball. Bit of a surprise, I think, to all of us. Volcano Vista at home holds home court, and they beat the Rio Rancho Rams. The Rams led early in that one, but Volcano, who hadn't been putting up big points, puts up the numbers and slips by the Rio Rancho Rams 71-66. I believe the final score of that one is. So Volcano with the win quickly.
I was a little upset. I'm surprised. Wally Salata had that team playing very well, and I thought Rio Rancho would get past that. But Lorenzo V. Hill, Cormier, Jacob McNeely, they have a good team. Adam and Greg Brown's an excellent coach.
Okay, guys, we're going to talk a little bit more Preps Hoops in a little bit, but we'll also talk about Coach K's big win. Put him on the 1,000 mark, and we'll also go over Zach Gentry's switch to flip over to Michigan. All of it coming up next, uSports Central.